Welcome to Whom It May Concern, the podcast.
Welcome back to Whom It May Concern, Season 2, Episode 3. Today's episode is one of the most personal I've ever done. This entire season is dedicated to my late father, Reggie Thompson, a man whose impact on my life is immeasurable. Grief is a tough subject to talk about, but it's a universal one. So if you've ever lost someone close to you, let alone a parent, you know that grief doesn't just go away. It changes you. This episode is about grief, about healing, and about honoring the legacy of the people who've shaped us. So let's get to it. Let's talk about that a little bit more in a manner that, I'm currently dealing with. Grief is complicated. It doesn't follow a timeline, and it doesn't look the same for everyone. For me, losing my father felt like losing a part of my foundation, if I'm being honest. Here's what I've learned about grief. It's not linear. Some days are harder than others, and that's okay. I'm learning to deal with that as time goes on. Triggers, there's gonna be triggers everywhere. There's gonna be a song that's playing, a smell, or even a phrase that can bring back memories that, both are good and bad. And it's a reflection of love. Grief exists because love existed first. So as an example, I'll never forget the first time that I heard Langston, my youngest child, laugh. It was such a joyful moment, but it also hit me hard. My dad would have loved to hear it. These moments of joy and sorrow are so intertwined. When you're grieving, especially, it becomes an emotional hot button. It's a debate of sorts. On one hand, you're still celebrating life, and on the other, I'm still memorializing a life that has gone on. I'd like to talk a little bit about honoring the legacy of those who've preceded us. One of the ways that I found healing to be beneficial is by focusing on my father's legacy. As mentioned earlier in this podcast, this season, what I'm doing, sitting in this chair right now, is dedicated to the honor and memory of my father. A man who was a leader in his own right, tenacious, very private, very integral. He taught me so much about what it means to be a man, a father, and also a leader. Here are a few ways that we can honor the people that we've lost. Here's just a few life lessons that I've come along the way. My father believed in hard work and family above all else. I can try to carry those values in everything that I do. He was a man that if I said I'm gonna build a rocket ship out of cardboard and just some, metal that I found in the garage, he would say, okay, I'll help you build it. That's how proud he was. Didn't matter what you had on your plate. He believed that you could do it because you were his offspring. That's so profound to me. Another thing that we could do to help curate and make sure that the memory of our loved ones are where they need to be, it's whether it's in this podcast or my nonprofit or even how I parent, I try to make the choices that would make him proud. My dad was a no-nonsense type of guy. He was not a liar. He was not a thief. He wasn't a cheat. In certain ways, he wasn't a cheat, but the man had integrity, and I have to honor that. He had his word, and if he gave you his word, it meant something. His word was his bond. Those are things I would definitely remember about him, and as I venture off into my life, my word is my bond. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I will give you the shirt off my back if you and I have that relationship, because I know that that's what he would do. I often tell my kids stories about my dad. How he used to take me out to get sandwiches. There was a place in Rochester, New York called Campy's. He would take us to Genesee Park Valley when he had the opportunity. Full disclosure, I didn't live in the same household as my father. So at times it made it difficult for us to connect and continue our bond throughout my teenage years. It didn't matter though. The time that we did spend together was golden for me. A bike ride on the Erie Canal, or just he would pick me up and take me to his house. I could spend time with my brothers. I was loving it. My dad was the best at making me feel comfortable no matter where I was or how I was feeling. So with that, one thing that he would always tell me as well is, Phillip, you don't need to conquer the world. Take it one day at a time, one step at a time. He was very methodical in his approach, making sure to keep the main thing the main thing. Don't get too high. Certainly don't get too low. Stay consistent. Keep trotting. When I was visiting him in the hospital, as he was recovering from a spinal injury, one of the things that he wanted to do was to rent a van or buy a truck, really, and take it up and down the East and West Coast. And I was like, Dad, come on, man. Really? But he meant it. Even in the state that he was in the hospital, that was his way of staying strong. That was his way of saying, one day I'm gonna get out of here. You know, in the Jamie Foxx special, when he was recovering from his stroke, he kept telling himself, if I could stay funny, I could stay alive. In a way, that was my dad's funny. He wanted to get out the hospital. He wanted to regain his independence. And he told me, I'm gonna get that car and I'm gonna come pick you up. You, your brother, and your sister, we're gonna go up and down. And we're just gonna see the four corners of the US. And I was like, Pop, I'm all in. Just let me know. But we gotta get you better. And we gotta get you out of here. So there are many ways that you can find strength in grief. Grief isn't something that you overcome. Like, it's going to stay with you. You have to run towards it, actually. Learn to live with it. I'm learning as we go, but here's some things that I can maybe talk about that I've learned along the way. Therapy is golden. You know, if you are grieving or have lost a loved one, please don't feel ashamed to keep it to yourself. I have my moments. I have my good days, I have my bad days, and it's still very fresh. It's still very new. But my therapist is on speed dial. That's for sure. Be okay with sharing your feelings. There's power in that. I have conversations with my sister all the time. And we talk about how we're feeling in the present moment. And it's relieving. I don't have to be alone in this struggle. Whether it's family member or a friend, it's important to get it out. Put it out there. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed. Have the conversation. It's a healing process, but focus on the present, because grief can definitely pull you into the past. I have my fair share of regrets, but staying present helps me find joy in the here and now. And allow yourself to feel. It's important that you also allow yourself to feel. Don't try to suppress your feelings or your emotions. I tried to do that. It doesn't work so well. Let yourself feel the sadness. Embrace it. The anger, the joy. It's all a part of the process. My call of action for you as my audience member is that if you are grieving, I want you to take a moment and write down one lesson or memory from your loved one that you want to carry forward. Keep it somewhere that you can see it as a reminder that they're still with you. I've gotten mine written down. I know where to reach it and how to access it when I need it. And I'll do that frequently. One of them happens to be a voicemail that my father left me over the summer, but I didn't realize the importance of keeping those digital notes were going to be so vital to his existence and to mine. But these are the things that I implore you to do to help get through these difficult tasks. Grief is hard, but it's also a testament to how much we've loved. My father's legacy lives on through me and through his grandkids and in this podcast. If today's episode resonated with you in any way, if you're going through this experience, whether it's a parent or a loved one, reach out. Let's share these stories. Let's keep their legacies alive. In the next episode, we'll have an opportunity to talk about turning creative passion into paychecks. A little bit more funner topic, I'm sure. But making money is something that we all love to do. So I'll be sure to tell you a little bit more on some of those ways to build your brand and stay consistent. In the meantime, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for allowing me to share. It's healing for me. I hope that in some way or fashion you find healing if you're going through this particular topic as well. Peace and love. I gotta do it. I thought I was gonna tear up in that.
What age?
Is
it? I don't know how it is. I can only speak from my experience, me being from Mexico. Like, for the audience, Gabe here, the producer, I'm originally from Mexico, but I moved to the States like about 20 years ago. So half my life grew up in Mexico, half my life here. There's definitely a thing in the Mexican culture about men not crying. And I don't know if it's the same with the African American culture, but I tell you, I am a crier. Dude, freaking movies make me cry, and I I was really surprised that you did interrupt a little bit, but I can tell that internally you were trying to pull it together.
I tell you why. I'll tell you why. And it's not that I'm not a crier, because I am. And I firmly believe that crying and pouring out your emotions at the right time is necessary and it's healing. I'm not the keep it in. I cried at my wedding. I cried. All of my kids were born. Trust me, I tear up. I think what has helped me is that right now in this very moment, I know that none of this is possible, that he has helped me elevate my platform. So he's sitting right here with me like, that boy did it. And I've been processing. I've cried. I cried in the midnight hour. When I listen to his voicemails, waterworks. But that has helped me get through this, and knowing that he did what he was supposed to do. And there was nothing more that we could do. Should he still be here? I firmly believe that, yeah. But also, there were just a lot of parameters, I think, with his recovery, where he was at the time, mentally and physically, that he wasn't living the life that he wanted to live.
It's hard, man. I was actually having a conversation with my dad the other day. So I have my youngest brother with me. He's been living with us for a year now, and he is in the autistic spectrum. And me and Laura, my wife, we had some questions. We've been dealing with some situations with my brother, and we wanted to get my parents' input. So we had a meeting with them over FaceTime. But after that, Laura went away, and I just stayed to talk, with my dad. We stayed till like 1 a.m. One of the things that was fresh in my mind is that you had lost your dad, and it had been a long while since I had a long conversation with my dad. So I was like, I ain't stopping. Like,
yeah.
It's important, like you never know when you never know. And so it's important. And I guess, man, I even forgot where I was going with this, but.
Well, I'll help you find yourself. And I'll tell you right now, the fact that you can still have those conversations with your dad, Gabe, I don't care what you do, make it a point every Sunday, once every month, whatever it is, have a standing conversation appointment if you can't see him physically. Those were some of the regrets that I have, is that as we were maturing in our relationship, because it wasn't always great, but it wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
I wanted to be consistent in the way that we followed up. When we talked, it was if time stood still. And, probably a lot of people don't know that because they probably didn't see me around my dad a lot. I loved that man. I loved him to pieces, just because he was such a great dude, just a good, genuine guy. If you have a parent, and I have to tell with my mom too, slightly different, but love on your parent. Love on your loved one.
I remember because you were talking about how, you wish that, or you think that he left too soon, but there were other circumstances and so I was talking to my dad, and we were talking about life and death. And I'm currently in the process of working, a way for them to come back to the States, and we're working with the lawyers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And one of my worries, I was telling him that sometimes it keeps me up at night, is that one day I'm gonna get a call saying like, Gabe, your dad is no longer with us. And then he was like, "No, man, I'm gonna live until I'm 90." And we were talking about the finality of death, and I told my dad, I was like, "Dad, I'm not afraid of dying or of crossing the threshold. I just don't want you or me to cross it sooner than we have to."
Yeah.
And I told him like, "Dad, if you get to 99 or 100, if I'm gonna cry, because I at that point it's probably better,
right,
that you cross that threshold and be with the Lord."
Yeah.
Because God only knows at that age, like my back hurts right now. I'm only 40.
Right. Right.
Like when I'm 90, dude, I'm gonna be like, let's
just
take me home, Lord.
Please.
So where's that balance though, right? So like on the one side, you want to keep your parents as long as you can, but at the same time, there's gonna come a point in time where
you know what's best for them.
It's best for them.
Yeah.
And as much as it hurts,
yeah,
as much as I'm going to miss them.
Yeah. So the reason why I say like with in my dad's situation, yes, because of the spinal injury, he'd lost all activity of his limbs, waist down. So we were rehabbing that. He couldn't exactly use his arms. So you and I can pick up a spoon, we could bathe ourselves, we could feed ourselves. He needed assistance with that. That is not, if that man had to live like that for the duration of his life, I don't know if I would have wanted that, because he was way too independent for that. My dad didn't ask for help from anybody. Huge pride. I know that's where I get it from. Also, can be a detriment at times, but I didn't want to see him in that condition. I think subconsciously, it was hard for me to go to the hospital. The first time I went to the hospital to see him in that state, you don't want to see any of your loved ones, not able to care for themselves. But that certainly was a challenge. So why I'm at peace with everything is because the man did what he could do, and he never complained in that situation, other than like if he was getting unfair, poor treatment, which I kind of suspect happened down the line. But while he was there, he made friends with it. They call him the bear or the mayor on the floor. He made friends with everybody, all the nurses, all the attendants. And that was the kind of guy he was. But I also know that living in solitude and not knowing if you're going to recover from things and having other physical challenges, I can only pray to get to 71. I'll be honest with you. I still feel like that's young, relatively speaking, but God is the author. He knows our days. He knows expiration dates. It's what we do in the interim that counts. So using this platform as God's work.
Well, just in closing, of course, I never got the opportunity to do that, but just by knowing you, the type of man that you are, I can tell that he was a good person because of the child that you raised. Even if you weren't in the best of terms at times, there were other times that you were in the best of terms.
I don't even think about those other times. All I think about are the times.
Yeah, good times sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
You have rough patches in relationships.
Yep.
At the end of the day,
Yep.
you are today, you're here, and in great part because of him. So he dedicated this episode, to his memory. And yeah, man, I'll be praying for you to continue your healing.
Thank you, Jay. I appreciate that. That means the world to me. And it's just good having support. You gotta have a village, and I couldn't get through this without a village. So thank you. Cut.